Apply. In a world filled with wonders, there exists a flower that has fascinated poets, mystics, and scientists for centuries, the lotus. A bloom that rises from the darkest, murkiest waters. Apply, yet opens its petals in breathtaking beauty, untouched, pure, and almost magical. Across cultures, it is not just a flower, it is a symbol of rebirth power, apply, and secrets waiting to be unlocked. From ancient temples carved in stone to cutting-edge laboratories searching for answers, apply, the lotus has held humanity's gaze. Whispering mysteries we still struggle to understand. How can a single flower carry within it the wisdom of survival, the marvel of perfection? Apply, and the essence of divinity itself. Tonight, we step into the mystery of the magical lotus, where science meets legend and truth feels stranger than imagination. Apply, the lotus is unlike any other flower in the natural world. It dares to bloom in places where life seems nearly impossible, in swamps, muddy ponds. Apply, and stagnant waters that appear lifeless to the human eye. Yet from that darkness it rises above the surface, lifting its delicate petals toward the light. Apply, untouched by the filth beneath. What makes this so extraordinary is not just its symbolic beauty, but the remarkable science behind it. Apply, the petals of the lotus are covered with microscopic structures that prevent dirt, dust, and even bacteria from clinging to them. Apply, raindrops or water droplets that land on the lotus do not soak it. Instead, they roll across its surface, sweeping away impurities as they go. Apply, this is why the lotus remains perfectly clean, no matter how murky its surroundings may be. Apply, scientists call this the lotus effect, and it has become a source of inspiration for modern technology. Apply, engineers have studied the surface of lotus petals to create self-cleaning paints, waterproof fabric stain-resistant coatings, and even medical equipment that repels harmful microbes. Apply. Imagine the brilliance of nature teaching humans how to design smarter, cleaner, and safer innovations, all from the delicate design of a single flower. But beyond science, apply, there's something deeply spiritual about the lotus defying the odds of nature. Apply, to watch it rise each morning from dirty waters and open in radiant glory is to witness a powerful metaphor for human resilience. It shows us that no matter how difficult, polluted, apply, or dark the environment, purity and beauty can still emerge. This is why countless cultures have revered the lotus as sacred. Ancient Egyptians saw it as a symbol of rebirth. Apply, believing the sun god himself was born from its petals. In Asian traditions, apply, the lotus is a sign of enlightenment, a reminder that one can rise above suffering and remain untouched by negativity. Apply, the physical ability of the lotus to defy its environment has given it a role in human imagination that transcends science. It has become a universal story of hope, strength, apply, and the possibility of transformation. When you think of this small flower surviving in muddy waters, apply, you are really looking at nature's reminder that purity does not depend on where you come from, it depends on how you rise. Apply, and in the way the lotus stands tall and opens with grace each day, it teaches us a lesson that feels timeless. Beauty and greatness are not defined by perfect conditions, apply, but by the ability to thrive in spite of imperfection. Across human history, very few symbols have carried as much meaning as the lotus. Its image has been carved into stone temples, apply, painted on ancient scrolls, and etched deep into the spiritual imagination of civilizations separated by thousands of miles. In Egypt, apply, the lotus was not simply a flower, it was a key to understanding life, death, and rebirth. Apply. The ancient Egyptians watched how the lotus closed its petals each night and sank back into the water, only to rise again with the morning sun. To them, apply, this was not just nature's rhythm, it was a sacred pattern. They believed the lotus was connected to the cycle of creation itself. Apply, and myths were born from its nightly disappearance and miraculous reappearance. The sun god Ra, they believed, was born from a lotus, and with him came light, life, apply, and renewal for the world. Even in the tombs of pharaohs, the lotus appeared as a promise that death was not the end, but only a passage to rebirth. Travel east, apply, and the lotus takes on even deeper layers of meaning. In Hinduism, it is considered the seat of divine power. Deities like Vishnu, Lakshmi, apply, and Saraswati are often depicted seated or standing upon a blooming lotus, a sign that divinity itself rises above the impurities of the mortal world. The flower, apply, rooted in mud yet blossoming in beauty, became a natural symbol of spiritual transcendence, a way of showing that humans too can rise above attachment, ego, apply, and suffering to achieve something higher. The Bhagavad Gita even urges a life lived like the lotus, engaged in the world yet untouched by its dirt. In Buddhism, apply, the lotus carries perhaps the most profound meaning of all. It represents enlightenment, the ultimate goal of the human spirit. Apply, just as the lotus grows through murky waters to reach the sunlight, the human soul is believed to rise through the struggles of life, through ignorance and pain. Apply to finally open in the light of wisdom. Each color of the lotus, from white to blue to pink, carries its own symbolic meaning. In Buddhist teachings, purity, wisdom, apply, or divine awakening. Monks meditate upon it, artists paint it, and worshippers offer it, not just as a flower, but as a map of the spiritual journey. Apply. What is striking is how across continents and centuries, cultures that never met still saw the same truth in the lotus. They saw that its beauty was not despite the mud, apply, but because of it. Its story is not of avoiding struggle, but of transforming it. In every civilization, the lotus was a reminder of resilience, purity, and the possibility of renewal. Apply. To this day, when we see a lotus bloom, it is more than nature's beauty. It is a living emblem of the human spirit's unshakable ability to rise. Apply. When scientists first turned their attention to the lotus, they were not simply drawn to its beauty or symbolism, but to a remarkable mystery hidden within its petals. Apply. How could a flower that grew in dirty, stagnant water remain so spotless and pure? For centuries, people believed it was simply a natural wonder, something magical. Apply. But with the tools of modern science, researchers uncovered one of the most fascinating natural mechanisms ever discovered, the lotus effect. At a microscopic level, apply. The surface of lotus leaves and petals is not smooth at all. Instead, it is covered with tiny structures, minuscule bumps coated with a layer of wax. Apply. This unique design prevents water from spreading across the surface. Instead, droplets form perfect little spheres that roll off like marbles, carrying away dirt, dust, apply, and even bacteria as they move. What appears to the human eye as simple cleanliness is, in truth, one of nature's most advanced forms of self-purification. Apply. This discovery completely transformed the way scientists thought about design in nature. Apply. They realized that the lotus had mastered the art of repelling water and cleansing itself without human intervention, chemicals, or tools. In other words, apply. It was nature's original self-cleaning technology. The implications of this were extraordinary. Researchers began to mimic this natural design. Apply, developing new materials that could copy the lotus's ability. From paints that never need scrubbing to glass that clears itself after rain. Apply. From waterproof clothing to stain-resistant fabrics. Engineers use the principles of the lotus effect to create innovations that touch our daily lives. Even medical technology benefited. Apply. Surfaces inspired by the lotus can resist bacteria, making surgical tools, hospital walls, and equipment safer from contamination. Apply. What is astonishing is how a flower revered for spiritual purity also ended up guiding science toward practical breakthroughs. It's as if the lotus holds wisdom not just for the soul, apply, but for the progress of human civilization. Entire industries now look to the lotus as an example of biomimicry, the practice of solving human problems by studying natural designs. Apply. It proves that sometimes the answers to our greatest challenges don't come from building new machines or complex systems. Apply, but from observing what nature has quietly perfected over millions of years. The lotus does not simply inspire poets and monks, it inspires scientists and engineers too. Its petals, apply. Small and fragile in appearance, carry within them lessons that shape technology, architecture, medicine, and even the way we imagine the future of sustainable living. Apply. A single drop rolling off a lotus petal is more than a trick of nature. It is a symbol of innovation, of nature whispering its secrets to humanity. Apply. And it shows us that in the most unassuming of places, even in a flower rising from the mud, there lies the power to revolutionize the world. Apply. The lotus carries with it a story that almost defies the imagination, a story not of days or years, but of centuries and even millennia. Apply. Unlike most plants whose seeds wither and lose their power to grow after a short time, the lotus hides within its humble seed an astonishing secret, the gift of eternal life. Apply. Archaeologists working in the dry lake beds of northeast China once unearthed lotus seeds that had been buried for more than 1,000 years. To their amazement, apply. When scientists carefully placed those ancient seeds into the right conditions, they awoke from their slumber and bloomed again as if time itself had not touched them. Apply. It was a revelation, proof that this delicate flower had mastered endurance in a way no other plant had. Later, even older seeds were tested. Apply. Some believed to be more than 2,000 years old, and they too sprang back to life. The lotus had shown humanity something extraordinary. Apply. That survival is not just about strength in the present moment, but about patience across the ages. This ability makes the lotus one of the most resilient species in nature. Apply. Its seeds are built with a protective coat, hard as armor, that shields the fragile life within from heat, cold, drought, and the slow decay of time. Apply. Scientists who examined these seeds found that the lotus contains natural chemicals that repair damage to its DNA, allowing it to resist aging in ways few organisms can. Apply. In the natural world, where decay and death are unavoidable, the lotus rewrote the rules. It became, in a sense, apply. Nature's time traveler, carrying the promise of life across centuries, waiting silently for the right moment to bloom again. For ancient civilizations, apply. This extraordinary trait only deepened the lotus's spiritual significance. Imagine a flower that can disappear for 1,000 years, apply, yet return in full beauty when touched by water and sunlight. To many cultures, this was a living metaphor for immortality, for the soul's journey beyond death. Apply. For the belief that life can begin anew even after the longest of silences. No wonder temples, scriptures, and myths across Asia and beyond use the lotus as their eternal emblem. Apply. Even for modern science, the lotus seed holds lessons we are only beginning to understand. Apply. Researchers are studying its incredible resistance to aging in hopes of unlocking secrets that could help extend the lifespan of crops, preserve biodiversity, apply, or even slow down cellular damage in humans. The lotus, in this way, bridges the gap between myth and laboratory, offering wisdom to both the poet and the scientist. Apply. To think of a seed lying quietly in the earth for centuries, carrying within it the dream of a flower, is to be reminded of the quiet power of patience, of resilience. Apply. Of the mysteries hidden in nature's design. The lotus does not rush, it does not falter. It waits silently until the right moment arrives, and then, without hesitation, apply, blooms again, timeless and eternal.